The huge 5-7-story four-wing facility with an internal connecting tract with wood-paneled banquet hall was built from 1925 to 1928 by Willy Hoffmann for the then Oberpostdirektion Berlin with more than 1,000 employees. In 1934 it was renamed Reichspostdirektion Berlin. In 1945, she went to the Department for the Postal and Telecommunications from the Magistrate of Gross Berlin. In 1954 the Landespostdirektion Berlin was founded here. After the fall of the wall, it became the Oberpostdirektion Berlin in 1991, which existed here until 1997. The main entrance is located at Dernburgstrasse 50. With the end of the war, the postal and telecommunications system also faced a new beginning. In order to simplify administrative work, supra-regional central institutions in Berlin had initially been subordinated to the local administration. Therefore, the magistrate was also responsible for the institutions previously directly under the Reichspostministerium. A Department of Postal and Telecommunications of the magistrate administration was established in the building of the former Oberpostdirektion Berlin at Dernburgstrasse 50, Berlin-Charlottenburg, and began its work on 17 May 1945 under the direction of the city council Ernst Keller. After the division of the city in 1948, the competent administrative office in the western part under the direction of Hugo Holthofer first had to accompany the reconstruction of postal facilities, since the main telegraph office, parcel post office, telephone office and postal checkamt were located in the eastern part of the city. It was initially not possible to connect to the post office of the Western Allied occupation zones. With the entry into force of the Berlin Constitution on 1 September 1950, the postal administration received the name Senate Administration for Postal and Telecommunications. Its head became a member of the government as a senator. Only through the law on the status of the Land of Berlin in the financial system of the federal government of August 4, 1952, responsibility for Berlin postal and telecommunications from the Senate at least partially passed to the Deutsche Bundespost. The adoption by the Berlin House of Representatives on 29 September 1953 of the Act on the Administration of the German Bundespost, Postal Administration Act, of 24 July 1953 largely completed the process of incorporation into the Deutsche Bundespost. The postal and telecommunications system in Berlin was transferred to a Landespostdirektion Berlin, LPD. The headquarters of the authority remained the building on Dernburgstrasse. Georg Hoffmann, born 1902, was appointed by the Federal Postal Minister as the first president of the Landespostdirektion Berlin on 1 April 1954. In February 1965 Georg Hoffmann, born 1907, became president of the Berlin State Post Directorate, followed by Hermann Wissmann, 1972 to 1983, and Klaus Werner, from 1983. In 1975 there were 109 post offices, 5 telecommunications offices, a postal check office and a telecommunications office. In addition to the State Post Directorate as an institution of the federal government, there was an area responsible for postal matters within the Senate administration in Berlin, West. The Postal Structure Law of 8 June 1989 initiated the organizational reconstruction of the postal system in Germany. The first part of the postal reform was divided by Deutsche Bundespost into the organizational and economically independent public companies DBP Postdienst, DBP Postbank and DBP Telekom. Oberpostdirektion Berlin was to become a subordinate middle executive authority of the Federal Minister for Post and Telecommunications. As part of the reunification of Berlin, the institutions of the Landespostdirektion Berlin and the Bezirksdirektion Berlin der Deutsche Post der GDR entered the Oberpostdirektion Berlin as of February 1, 1991. In the south there are 2 smaller wing buildings, on Herbartstrasse 2122 the former residential building of the President, which is crowned by pointed battlements. The construction on Dernburgstrasse ends in a polygonal tower. The white plastered facade is accentuated with accentuating terracotta molded stones in the window frames, bundle columnar-like protrusions of the transverse wings and surrounding cornice above the 5th floor as well as in the plinth zone. In addition to the Oberpost direct iron, at the Dernburgstrasse 58, the Hedwig Rudiger House was built in 1924-25 as a single home for postal officers. The Reichspost decided to build a new building for the Central Postal Administration in 1922, because the operation of the Oberpost direct iron, OPD, was now distributed over 20 different locations in Berlin, some of which are far apart. The post therefore acquired an 18,000 square meter plot, limited by Dernburg and Herbartstrasse, in Charlottenburg between the Ringbahn and Letzensee. An administrative building was planned for 1,000 postal employees. Due to the inflation of 1923, the start of construction was delayed by 3 years, so that the inauguration took place only in May 1928. It is the most mature and important work of Oberpost Baurat Willi Hoffmann. The outer enclosure walls are bricked, the inner frame is constructed as a steel skeleton to have greater freedom in the design of the room. Hoffmann had to provide enough office space, as well as meeting rooms, a banquet hall and a canteen. Construction costs amounted to 4,433,000 Reichsmark. From 1934, the Oberpost direct iron ran the name Reichspost direct iron, Reichspost direct iron. The building is a 4-wing facility, in the middle of which there is a connecting wing with a hall building. All components are flat-covered and bright white plastered. There are 2 annexes to the south. The lower one at Dernburgstrasse closes with a squat, polygonal tower. The conciseness of the elongated main facade is distinguished by the red-brown terracotta moldings, which cover the main cornice, the window enclosures, the entrances, and the building edges reaching the column thickness. The contrast with the bright wall surfaces creates an impressive graphic effect. Architecturally interesting is the 5-story main staircase on Dernburgstrasse with its 18-meter-high circular pillars clad with tiles. From 1948 to 1971, the building housed the Post Office Berlin West.